The Arian has the floor.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Kafir, colleagues, the Honorable Minister of Finance and her support staff. Madam Chair, I questioned this already once during the budget debate, and I could also imagine that the staff themselves are a bit confused. I'm also a bit confused. I enjoyed the presentation today by the minister, but the presentation today is in direct contradiction to the position of the minister and her words in the past. So I've referenced a video that was since then taken down from the DP page. It's been wiped clean, but it was thankfully downloaded already. And I mentioned this video during the budget debate. This video was posted during the elections, and I also had the video transcribed. In the video, the minister was asked a question regarding the filling out of tax returns. And the minister did indicate it is a law, but the minister said you don't have to file your taxes necessarily if you have no additional income, because your boss or job has filed their yearly wage card. You don't have to do so. That was the exact words of the minister. Again, the minister continued, in theory is a no, but at the same time, you have to potentially file sometimes because other institutions ask for your last file. So I'll continue just for a little more clarity. What we can do, the minister says, then is called the interview also asked a question regarding, so are you saying that you don't have to file your taxes? And the minister says you don't, but then you'll be assessed. And the minister then says that the thing is, you're being assessed and don't know what you're being assessed on or what you filed. Even MP Bonkamp even called in on the show or message, and during the process, he mentioned that how long must we wait on our yearly assessments to be handled, etc., etc. The minister mentioned, I find that it's taking too long. I find it's taking too long, and that she is going to get it done faster. And a question came up again, similar to the question posed by MP Veronica Janse regarding the tax returns. And the minister mentioned that they say that there's an issue between the receiver's office and the tax office and no proper communication, but that's something that she'll be working on. That was last year, August. And that she has a problem with the fact that you have to ask for your money. She indicated in the interview that she wants to educate the people of St. Martin that you don't just get your tax returns, you have to ask for your tax returns, and that she doesn't agree with this, and that she feels that once you're owed your money, which I can understand, you should just be able to get your money back. So what I would like to know is, again, a clear position of the government, because I don't believe we can have a position of the minister, and then today, when the staff is here, for example, and it'll be out of election time, that we have a position of the government. What is the position of the government on filing your taxes? I also asked this question because I have had so many questions since the interviews. It was an interview, it was Khalil on the radio, it was MP Varen was on the radio, it was the minister was on the radio, and it was doubled down on a subsequent radio show again. Both those interviews we still have. People are confused. So I would really like to have a final answer. Do you need to file your taxes or not? As I stated before, legal precedent already has been set that once a minister says something, even on Facebook, it is just as good as publishing in the National Gazette. So it cannot have a conflicting message coming out from the minister, and then the ministry has a different position. Regarding the presentation of the minister and looking at the document from the audit chamber, The minister mentioned a policy. What I would like to know is when will the policy be written for the assessment to be finalized and implementation? So what kind of timeline can we look at? What specific measures will be introduced to ensure tax assessments are standardized and not left to the discretionary judgment according to the minister? MP Westcott Williams was asking a question related to data and information, but I believe through Madam Chair, the MP more than likely is aware that the government did not appeal the case related to the tax system. And to date, we have not gotten any realistic update on the way forward. All these requests for information and data, I think, has been said over and over and over and over by any Minister of Finance sitting in that position. With the system that we have now, it's very difficult to access data. The pressure is going to take to be able to get the data that the MP wants would mean we have to have a lot more staff, right, combing through documents to be able to access data. Without a new and proper tax system, these questions the MP is posting will be asked every year over and over and over again. Nothing has changed last year, the year before, and the year before that. The only thing that has changed is that now we are now a year or two or three removed from a new tax system. That's the only thing. What is the expected timeline for the implementation of the new tax system? A clear answer. I asked this question during the budget debate. We didn't get a clear answer there. And is it still supported fully by the TREO? Is the funds still allocated for the tax system? Is there any issue with the TREO in the continuation of the tax system? Do we have to start all over from scratch? Because during my term, I believe this was one of the most thorough tenders I've seen, to a point where we didn't just include, first of all, I was totally removed as minister, so I had no awareness of who won or who was part of the bid, totally removed. A system where we didn't just include SGs and department heads, but we also allowed a second tier of staff to participate in the tax system, to also judge on the system, so not just to have the opinion of the top management, but to also get input from the staff that has to use the system on a daily basis, so their input also weighs into the system. Again, during my tenure, I've not seen that done with any other ministry. This was a process of almost a year and a half to get to that point. We have not lost any court case up until that point. And the entity that went to court also was just buying time. So what I would like to know, a clear answer. What is the way forward? Are we going to start this process over? If so, when? When would the tender be published? Because if we took 2 years, that means that we are at the very least 2 years removed from a new tax system. So all the questions from MP Westcott Williams could be pushed forward to 2027 to get any relevant answers. Regarding are there any ongoing discussions on integrating the system now with the Census Office, the Chamber of Commerce, and the receivers? And if so, what is the timeline? Given that there's only one tax inspector, what short-term measures are being considered to address this critical shortage? Because if you look at the budget 2025, which obviously hasn't been ratified, we don't see any budget there to hire. And an issue that will come up for sure, and it was being addressed in the Ministry of Finance when I was there, was the updating of the salary scales of the whole Ministry of Finance. We have the Ministry of Justice, which now puts the rest of government out of whack. So now you have one entity that's being fixed, but now everybody else is out of whack. There's almost no way we're able to attract the persons that we need to work in the Ministry of Finance, especially in tax office, without updating the salary scales. So what steps are currently being taken to update the salary scales to attract qualified tax professionals? And I'm hoping the answer is not that we're waiting on P&O or the Ministry of General Affairs, because we don't have to. The same way we did justice, we were already in the process already with SOAB, among others, to update our own already. We're not going to be able to get what we need without getting the qualified professionals, but being able to actually attract them and pay the current ones that they are already. We have, and that's I asked this question also. What is the update on the BRA Act and, among others, the whole BRA legislation? And why that's related to this? Because we have persons in tax office that, for example, were stuck on a scale for almost 10 years with no kind of growth because of this legislation that they can't grow. And surprisingly, and I told them too, you guys are better than me, because I would not be able to work in a position, come to work every single day, knowing that inflation is increasing every year, and knowing that my salary has not changed for 10 years. The legislation that we brought already since almost a year ago now, and the government cannot present it. We're not going to keep staff without being able to allow them to grow. So where is this legislation? Because that would definitely help with the current persons working there now who deserve it. Is there any truth to the ministry considering outsourcing temporary hires to address the backlog in tax assessments to any entity? What specific steps will be taken to ensure the taxpayers are properly informed about their rights and obligations before receiving an ex officio assessment? In addition to that, again, if the position of the minister or the government is not having to file, I've asked this in 2 subsequent prior budget debates, the communication, the marketing, explain people that, hey, you don't have to file if this is the case. But there's no communication from the government on these procedures. How will the ministry continue, how will we look going forward at the surcharge policy that MP La Cruz mentioned, the 10% for individuals and 25% for businesses? And if we look at this, is it actually, let's say, improving compliance? What alternative methods in the past will be looked at in terms of ensuring that taxpayers receive their assessments reliably, given the issues with mail delivery? I know we started the process of the legislation that we have now. It looks only at physical delivery and not digital delivery. That's a very small change in the legislation, I believe. It was discussed a few times already. What is the process, or where are we in that timeline of getting that done? That's something that could drastically change the communication within government and being able to get the answers that we need. Madam Chair, that'll be all for me, and I look forward to the answers by the Minister.
Thank you, MP Irian, for your questions and comments. I now give the floor to MP